every worker of deen. See, people who study medicine, the people who are studying medicine, they study books of anatomy, they do case studies of previous operations. All the work that a doctor will encounter in his life, a student is made to study that. And doctors that are qualified, every week journals are coming out to explain to them of new experiments and new discoveries in that field of medicine. Like that, a person who studies law, some of the studies are that they study case histories. That a case between so and so, between a father and a son, between in-laws and theirs, then there's criminal cases, there's business cases, they have to study those cases. So Allah Pak has given us Quran in which the effort of Anbiya has been described to us. And the efforts of Anbiya and those who followed the Anbiya, how Allah made them successful, what they got in this world, and what they're going to get in Akhirat. And those who disobeyed the Nabi, what happened to them in this world and what is going to happen to them in Akhirat. And all the different efforts on how a Nabi gave da'wat. Like Nuh alayhi salam say, Allah gave them da'wat in a day and in a night and in this condition and that condition. Shuaib alayhi salam gave da'wat. Yunus alayhi salam gave da'wat. Yusuf alayhi salam, the conditions he went through. So why is Allah telling us all this? The ulama say because we are the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's no Nabi going to come after us, after our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And no ummah will come after this ummah. So we have been given the responsibility of the effort of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah is making us study the case history of how Anbiya used to work. What they went through, how was their amal, what was their steadfastness, what was their piety, what they encountered and how they handled it. But all the things that all the Anbiya underwent, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went through more than that. All the difficulties, the hardships. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Imamul Anbiya. In Urdu they say, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Sabab-e-Wujud Kainat. He is the means for the existence of this entire creation. When Adam alayhi salam made Tawbah, he took the name of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a wasila. So he was asked that where did you hear of this Muhammad? So he said something like this, that, oh Allah, when you created me, on the arsh I seen La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So from there I understood that this Muhammad must be a very, very, very great person for his name to be close to your name. So it was told to him something like this, that he is from your children, he is your progeny. But had I not created him, there was no need to create you and the whole world also. So he is the sabab of wujud-e-kainat. He is the means for the creation of the entire creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked a question, which is a famous question which ulama quote so often. It's in Quran. Allah says, Alastu bi rabbikum. Am I not your Rabb? Not one of the creation knew what answer to give. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood up. He said, undoubtedly you are our Rabb. At that spot, Allah showed the entire creation that this is the Imam of my creation. So we are the ummatis of that Nabi. So when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came out of Taif, that dua which he read is a prescription for our entire life, and particularly for the workers of deen. All of us that are trying to do this Mubarak effort of deen. This, when we talk about the effort of deen, it applies to the people in a madrasa, it applies to the people in a khanka, the aid agencies, anyone who's trying to uplift this ummah and assist this ummah. This dua encompasses all these efforts. Because Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the all this that came into existence of goodness. So what did he say? Firstly, he did not blame the people of Taif. That Allah, see what kind of people this are, what they doing, how they are, like that. The first thing he said, the mafhum of which is, "Oh Allah," he made ikrar. He put forward his weakness. He said, "Allah, I put my weakness in front of you. My inability to talk to and to convince these people." So beautifully he said it. So whenever we are encountered with any effort of deen, whether it's a person, whether it's our neighbor, whether it's our children, whether it's our grandchildren, whichever person we encounter who we are trying to assist in reforming or in assisting, if those people are not reacting correctly, it's not because of their weakness, it's because our inability to explain to them. It is our inability to take a faisla from Allah for them. So he taught us that was the first part of the dua. Then he said, "Oh Allah," the mafhum, I'm just giving the mafhum of it, which ulama explained. That, "Oh Allah, this that happened to me, if it happened to me because you're upset with me, then the goal of my life will now be to remove the cause of your displeasure. And oh Allah, this that happened to me, if it happened and you are not upset with me, then I have no concern." So this is another major lesson of Iman which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us. See, all of us are undergoing situations. All of us are having issues. No person can say, "In my house I got no problem. In my family I got no problem. In my day-to-day personal life I got no one can say that. This place, Allah made it a place of issues, of problems. That Allah gives happiness also and Allah gives sadness. Allah gives sickness and Allah gives health. Allah gives life and Allah gives death. Allah is make all the situations. And why Allah said put these conditions? Allah says himself why he's putting these conditions. لِنَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. I'm putting you through different trials and conditions to see which of you will come out in the best of deeds. We don't have to change the situation. Allah wants to see the reaction from our heart. So why does the condition come? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explained in his dua. One is Allah sends a condition when Allah is displeased. So a condition comes. And that condition is also a rahmat from Allah. So that we turn to Allah. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us that, "Oh Allah, if this happened because you are upset, the goal of my life will be now to remove the cause of your displeasure." So any hal come in our life, we are not questioning the authority of Allah, because Allah can do as He pleases. But we ask Allah, "Allah, if you are upset with me, Allah, I ask you for maaf. Allah, this thing that came upon me, if it is because you are upset, Allah, because I did something that I was not supposed to do, Allah, I ask you for maaf. And give me the ability to remove the cause of your displeasure. And oh Allah, if this condition that is in my house or in my life is not because you're upset, but you sent it." Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't say it in a hadith, in this dua, but ulama explain it. That some conditions are to elevate the person. That's why Anbiya had the most difficulty. It was not because Allah was upset. It was because Allah was elevating them. So Allah will put a condition upon us because He wants us to reach a certain level and do extra amal. But because we're not doing it, Allah brings a condition so that through the condition we will do that. So see, this first two things Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us. Our first reaction to any action or any situation, Allah, if it's something you're upset with, Allah, give me the tawfiq to remove the cause of your displeasure. And Allah, if you're not upset with me, then I'm happy with this condition. That was the first part of the dua. Then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tells Allah that, "Oh Allah, I ask you for the ability to lead my life in such a way that in my life I should never incur thy anger or wrath. And I ask you to allow me to lead my life in such a way that I'm always under your mercy and your pleasure. And nobody can do this besides you. La hawla wa la quwwata illa bik." That's how the dua ends. The part where he asks Allah that allow me to lead my life in your pleasure. وَلَقَ الْأُطْبَى حَتَّى تَرْضَى. Allow me to be in your itat till you are pleased. So this is the maqsad of our life, that Allah Pak must be happy. In the Mubarak effort of deen, the goal is that mankind should get hidayat. But we are not responsible if we don't reach there. Because many Nabis, many Anbiya, they had one follower, two followers. Imagine Nuh alayhi salam made effort for 950 years. A handful of people, between 80 to 85 people approximately. Allah won't ask him why does few people accepted Islam. Because hidayat is in Allah's hand. Allah wants to see what effort he made. So when we are making the effort of deen, we shouldn't become so overtaken by the effort of deen, so that we break Allah's command. Because Allah is checking at every step, how are you doing it? So for this, Allah has inspired our elders that there are certain qualities we have to bring in our life in the process of doing this effort. So the end result is not our responsibility. The way we do the effort is our responsibility. So we do the effort keeping akhirat in mind. That Allah, soon I'm going to meet you. At no stage do I want to displease you. So the first is the effort of the correction of yaqeen. To understand that our hearts must be focused on wahdahu la sharik. Hearts must be pure. We have to cleanse it and purify it of attachment to anything of this world. They say no person can ever fulfill the rights of a friend as Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fulfilled the rights of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. But once Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said something like this, that, "Oh Abu Bakr, if I had to have a friend in this world, that friend would have been you." Because his heart was dedicated to Allah. So slowly we have to learn to dedicate our hearts to Allah. Remove it from attachment of the things of this world. And when will we take our hearts away from the things of this world? Is when akhirat becomes ghalib on us. When the fikr of akhirat overtakes us, then we will lose significance of the little things of this world. I just give you a simple example. There was a man who had a, what do you call it, slip disc. So it's extreme pain. In a slip disc, we cannot take bed rest. So now he can't move, he can't go toilet, he can't do anything for himself. So they put a bell by his house, by his bed. So every time he needed something, they press a button. So the bell rings in the kitchen, the wife comes. So now every few minutes he was ringing the bell. So his wife told him, "Please man, I also got work to do. Tell me one time what you want, then we can sort it out." So he said, if you had back pain like this, you would have also understood what I'm going through. She said, "Okay, ma, fine, no problem." After a day or so, one day, she's in the kitchen, and this man ran out of the house. So she went behind him to find, "What happened to you? You said you can't walk, you can't go toilet, how you ran out of the house?" He said a snake fell from the ceiling. So when the snake fell, it was danger of his life, so he forgot his back pain. So the reason the small things are irritating us in a house, why the bricks are like this, why this is like that, why the tile is like that, why the chair is like this, why this is like this, because the figure of akhirat hasn't taken us with. So all the small things are affecting us. But when we will have the fikr of akhirat, that tomorrow I'm going in a qabr. Last night I slept on a soft bed, expensive mattress, and tomorrow I'm on the ground, where kings and slaves are buried next to one another. No differentiation of the coffin, everyone got the same coffin. They don't throw special sand inside, people grain all the same sand is thrown. So our elders are saying the purpose of this effort, in front of us, we have to keep our akhirat. That finally I'm going there. So the effort on our iman, and having worry and concern of our iman, so that we love with iman and we die with iman. And this is not going to be a special elan for us, that next week you're going to pass away. So now the last week, let me sort myself out. It happened suddenly. Can you imagine the people in Turkey were sleeping? All went to sleep at night. What condition they slept, only Allah knows. And an earthquake came. They say at the moment maybe more than 25,000 people have passed away. In what condition they died, only Allah knows. So death comes unawares, unannounced. There are some very special people that by Allah's mercy, who have led their life in the pleasure of Allah, that Allah allows them moments of preparation. That's why in the dua of Hizbul Azam, Allah save us from a sudden death. Allah save us from a death in an accident, or in an earthquake, or in a sinkhole. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah Alayhi say we should ask Allah to make us not make us muhtaj of anyone, so that we don't become gunegars and we don't make our children also gunegars. We don't become a burden and don't make them gunegars. Allah would afiyat. Allah take me from this world. But you see, a few months of a little sickness, it's very, very good for a person to reflect and make tawbah and istighfar and ask his family for maaf. So we are going to pass away. So every day the effort of iman. We all learn to give dawat. And Allah Pak has chosen the believing men and believing women to do this Mubarak effort. The responsibility is equally upon us. Sometimes we say, the teachers in a school, today it's only about money, man. They're not interested. When you say the doctors, they're not interested in helping. They're interested in money. They want it. So our focus is on all that, but we forgot our zimedari. Allah's beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said something like this. Every child is born on a fitrat of Islam. The parents will make it a Jew or Christian or whatever religion they are in. So see, the emphasis Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam put on here, that the parents will do this, not the teacher will do it, not a Maulana will do it, not a school will do it. So before the child goes to school, we have 6 years. In that 6 years, we're supposed to teach him Iman, Quran, attachment to Allah, the love of Deen. That was the parents' responsibility. See, if you take milk and throw it in a sea or in a water, the milk, according to the amount of water, it will disappear. In a short while, you won't know they threw milk there. But if you make little effort on a milk, and it becomes like yogurt, so throw the yogurt in the water. So the presence of the yogurt will last longer than the presence of the milk. Then you make more effort, and it becomes ghee, like butter. You throw that butter in the water, the effect will last much longer than the milk and the yogurt. And you make more effort, and it becomes cheese. Now throw the cheese in the water, the cheese won't melt. So why are the children dissolving in the environment? It's a reflection of what I did to my children. How much effort I made on them. And this is the zimedari, particularly of mother, but parents together. When the mother and father have the same fikr for the tarbiyat of the children, then Allah Pak, because of the fikr of the parents, Allah Pak will make tarbiyat of these children according to the desire of the parents, of the children. The children's tarbiyat will be made. So this is a responsibility which we have. See, a child is an amanat. Allah will ask you, this amanat I gave you, what you did with it on the day of Qiyamah. Either it will become an asset or a liability for us, depending how I make tarbiyat of these children. If I gave them deen, I made them hufaz, I made them ulama, I got them married in a good home, I worried about the deendari in their homes, I did whatever I could. This child and the progeny will become an asset for us. Our children will continue teaching Quran. Our daughters will have maktabs in their houses. They'll be teaching children the continuation. But if I felt, I have to set him up in a world. The world is muqaddar. Whether you set him or you don't set him, he's going. Allah made it muqaddar. So what have I done to my children? Or what am I doing, or what plan have I got for my children? Because it's an amanat from Allah on which I will be questioned. What did you do with this amanat that I gave you? So this is a responsibility that the child is taught Iman in the house. And how will teach Iman? We don't need a degree to teach Iman. You see, the thing that is most required in the world, which we can't live without, is air. So air is free. It's abundant. No one can control air. That is Allah's prerogative and Allah's control. The next after that is water. So water is arm in the world, but it's not as important as air. So the thing that is required the most, Allah makes it the easiest. So the most important, more than water and air, is deen. So Allah made deen very easy. It's just that because we haven't made effort, We have forgotten how to do this effort of deed. So I'll give you an example. One day we went in Jamaat to one place. A very great Buzurg was in that masjid. So he asked us, what's your name and what's your parents' occupation? So this Ahmad was with us. We were in the same Jamaat. So he asked Ahmad, he told us, go call one boy from there. Just tell the Maulana, I need one boy for some khidmat. So the one Sati of our Jamaat, we went, they told the Maulana, that Farooq Bhai is calling one youngster, he just got some khidmat for him to do. So the youngster came. That time there was curfew in Karachi. So he told him, Bacha, I'm going to say it in Urdu as he said it because it's so beautiful. Then I'll translate it inshallah. He said, Bacha, kuch Allah ki baat karo. He said, Allah Pak, instantaneous, he never think. He said, Allah Pak ke fazl se kal raat ko Allah Pak ne afiyat se ghar pahuncha diya. Fir Allah ne bahut pyara khana khila diya. Fir meethi neend sula diya. Fir Allah Pak ne hame jagha diya. और अल्लाह पर फजर पढ़ने की तौफीक अता फरमाया. फिर अल्लाह ने मदरसा में लाया और अल्लाह पाक ने अपनी किताब से सिखा रहे. He says, see brothers, don't we all believe what this boy said is true? He told the boy, okay, go back. He said, don't we all believe what this boy said is true? That Allah did everything. But now how we'll say it? Hey, you know what, yesterday I went home, man. Shukr, I came nicely home. Hey, my mother gave me a lekker chow, man. Then I had a top sleep. I woke up, shukr, alhamdulillah, I came to the madrasa and I'm busy in the class. So we believe what Allah did is right, but we took Allah's name out of the equation. So we're not talking about Allah. So what the elders say, just include Allah in the thing. One day they asked one youngster, can you tell me something about Allah in the environment here? So his parents were some painting they used to do. He says, Subhanallah, what an artist is Allah. Look how beautiful in the blue sky he made white clouds. And here Allah painted it white and there Allah painted it grey. What is seen of Allah, that how Allah is doing this? They asked another youngster, his father was doing some farming. He said, you know, on our trees, on one day you can see 3 different colors of yellow. Then you see 3 different colors of brown, 3 different colors of green. So because their minds are exposed to start looking for Allah in His creation, so they visualize they can see Allah. There was a nazam when we were in madrasa, Maulana Rafiq Turani's father taught us. Patte patte mein nazar aate hai tere jalwa. But if we look at it with that eye, and we teach our children to look at it with that eye, then it will become visible to them. But if we don't do that, and you say if you put this fertilizer, the plant will become that color. If you put that thing, then that will happen. So the child will also think it works like that. So this is the effort that a mother has to make on her children with the support of the father. The father is not absolved, it's just that he's not there most of the time. So the effort on Iman and the love of Sunnah. The elders are telling this for years and years, but Allah give me hidayat also. And all of us. When a child is young, and we teach the child the Sunnah, to dress on a Sunnah, to eat on a Sunnah, to do this, it will become part of his life or her life. Then when the child grows up, it will become very easy. But if the mother feels, or the father feels, no, this child is still small, man, don't worry. When they get big, the whole world is showing us when they get big, they're not ready to listen to us anymore. When they were ready to listen, we were not understanding ourselves. So Maulana Abdul Hamid Sahib Damat Barakatuh, Allah Akbar, these are spiritual doctors. He said, you know why the mother dresses the child with that clothes? Because she was forced to wear abaya by her husband. But in her heart, she actually wanted to dress like that. So she's making her children dress how she wants to dress. The hidden secrets of the mother or the father come out in the clothing of the children. The hidden things in the mother's heart is expressed in the life of the child. The child is a reflection of what is in the hearts of the parents. So Allah Pak give us tawfiq that we cry for this thing. See, Maulana Abdul Hamid Sahib, we went to him in a time of COVID. So he told us COVID is not a test. COVID is the result of the test. All the results came out. So you see, brothers, you know what I mean? If the masjids were closed and you were happy to read namaz in the house, that means you failed the test. He said, if you are happy now, you don't have to go 40 days because you can't go. And you are very happy, that means you failed the test. But he says, see Allah's mercy. Allah gave you the test before you passed away. To make you realize, hey, I'm sick inside, I better fix it up. Because if you don't fix it up and you pass away in this condition, you're in big trouble. So, to make effort on our namaz is the next point. All of us have to make an effort. This is probably the weakest part of our lives. The people I'm talking of, the deendar people. The pabandi of namaz, getting ready on time. We are all weak in this thing. It's written in a kitab that some of the farishtas, the angels are standing in qiyam, some in ruku, some in sajda, some in this, some in that, some in tasbih. If you take all the ibadat put together, it makes the salah. So Allah gave that to this ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So the majmu'ah amal of the angels, Allah gave it to us. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said something like this. In Fazail Zikr, it comes one place that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at Khulafai Rashidin was sitting. What are the three things, beloved? So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of the three things, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, one, he said, I love salah, the mafhum of it. Then Abu Bakr gave his, Umar. So if Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam loves salah, we should ask Allah, Allah give me also the love of salah. Allah give me an opportunity to find sukoon, to find comfort in salah. We have to ask Allah for it. And to make an effort that it is corrected. Occasionally, husband and wife should sit together, alone in a house, and go through the different parts of salah. The thana, the dua kunut, when we read at-tahiyyat, the dua after that, in ruku, in sajda, all these different postures, how the postures are made. So if we read with one another, how the men are doing in Jamaat, we're going through all these things. Sometimes in a ladies' Jamaat, they don't say you must ask about dua kunut and this and that and that. But we at home should sit so that we don't forget these things. You ask, all of us are sitting now, you say, what is Panjum Kalima Radde Kufar? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika bin an. See if we know the first kalima. These things are all lessons of Iman that we were taught in madrasa. So all these things, sometimes we listen to the surahs, we make a mahal of talim at home. We talk about the 6 points, we read talim in our houses. The elders say fitna enters through fashion and through technology. The children will bring the technology, the parents will bring the fashion. So to remove this from our houses, we have talim. Talim will block these holes for this fashion and for technology to enter the house. If it comes in, it will come at a very limited level according to need. So every day we make fikr to have talim in our house. Try to read the masnoon du'as. Take out time for our ibadat. Every day tilawat of Quran, our zikr, our tasbihat, our durood sharif, our amal. We all have to take out time for this, inshallah. And all of us must try that this is a major sickness. Hazrat Sheikh writes this in Fazail Ramadan. Anyway, soon we should start Fazail Ramadan in our house. We don't start on the 1st of Ramadan. If we start earlier, then by the time Ramadan starts, we went through the kitab one time already. Sometimes on the last day we read what happened. What we're supposed to do in the last 10 days, we're reading it on the last day because we started late. So how to spend Ramadan. Then you get the Ramadan of Awliya. Hazrat Sheikh has written little in Fazail Ramadan, but you get this kitab. It's called the Ramadan of Awliya. How they spend their time. And they're talking about the Awliya mostly of our zamana. Maulana Khalil Ahmad Saranpuri, Hazrat Sheikh, them, how they used to spend their time. The amount of khatams they used to make. So this is not a bayan on that part, but organizing the savories before the time, organizing the things that we need. So in Ramadan, we try not to go out of the house. We have all our things and try to simplify our lives, stay indoors, spend time. Now the other day we were reading in Fazail Quran, they say the Imams of Fiqh, the 4 Imams. Hazrat Sheikh only mentions Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Shafi, but they say all the Imams, they used to read 62 Qurans in Ramadan. One in a day, one in a night, and one in Taraweeh. So 62 they used to read. There are so many ladies. There are so many men. There's a person, simple man, he's not a Hafiz al-Quran. He's a family of Baipadia Rahmatullah Ali. Every day of his life he read 15 paras. He's not a Hafiz. Every day. They say in Ramadan easy he makes 50 khatams. The same time he has, and he's not even a Hafiz. By now inshallah he is a Hafiz. So let's fix our time for that. So in Rajab if we are reading 1 para, in Shaban let's make it 2 paras. So by the time Ramadan comes, if we're reading 3 paras a day, inshallah at least minimum we can make 3 khatams. Ramadan is a month of Quran. It is special. We should make fikr that our children also, even if they in Nurani Qaida, make them sit little with a Nurani Qaida, they're reading, even that they're reading. If we see the life of the Awliya Ikram, their life was dedicated to Quran and to Durud Sharif. Because this is the nisbat with Allah and His beloved. Wow. Increasing our Durud Sharif, Istighfar, Tawbah, to take out time for dua. The point I was getting to, that in our homes, in our environments, in our shops, today we can't manage without ghibat. All the time we're talking about people. And now the other day we came from one program. I'm just trying to think who gave that program. I'm forgetting the person. He said he gave the traits of evil people. He was giving the traits of evil people. One, he said, those women who look at men freely and men who look at women freely is a sign of evil. So he said, you know what? He said, brothers, when we walk in a masjid, when we walk in a street, we're going for gush, we're lowering our gazes. But when no one is in a room, we're looking at Facebook, Instagram, we're looking freely at the ladies. And the ladies, I don't know if it's everywhere, but the ladies feel if they look at a man, is nothing wrong. But the rule is for both men and women. Both have to stay away from this thing, at looking at the other people. And discussing other people. Hey, you know, she wore this dress in another function also. You know, and they're doing that all the time. So we have to help one another. We have to help one another not to make ghibat. Sometimes you say, then they say, what must we talk about? There's nothing to do. So see, brothers, what Maulana Abdul Hamid Sahib says. You know, if a cat dies here in the street, not here in this house, in a neighbor's yard, after one day we weren't able to handle it. We tell him, we better take that cat away, otherwise we're calling the SPCA, we're calling the security, you take this cat. It stinks, that thing. But there are insects eating it, because they don't smell it. Then there are wild birds that eat the meat. They also don't smell it. Allah made them that they don't smell it because it's their khorak. He said a person who lies and a person who makes ghibat, a stench comes out of his mouth. The angels run away from it. But why are we not smelling it? Because this thing became our khorak. We are also thriving on this thing. Say, how can we? You don't want us to talk now. But we have to help ourselves. Because it's eating all the piety. We're reading sunnahs and we're reading this and we're reading du'as, reading kitabs. Imam Abu Hanifa said, if I had to make ghibat of anyone, I would have made of my mother. So that all my rewards at least goes to my mother. This the people we don't like, we're talking about them, all our goods going to them. So let's try to look after ourselves. The fast becomes nullified. I'm not talking of the fard and the masail. But if we read Fazail Ramadan, Hazrat Sheikh said it becomes nullified as if you ate food. You see what happens in the Sahaba's life is a lesson for us. It is not their mistake. Allah wanted them to do that so the ummah will learn. So two ladies, they were suffering. They couldn't handle the fast. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told something like this, give them a dish, tell them to vomit. When they were told that, they say, but we never eat. They say, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say you must vomit. When they vomited, meat came out. Everyone is shocked. You're fasting, but the meat came out. Say, this is the flesh of your people who you're making ghibat about. So let's protect our amal. And all of us teach our children to talk properly, politely, softly, sweetly. Slowly, what etiquette, what adab. Inshallah, this effort of akhlaq takes place in our houses. And whatever we do has to be only for the pleasure of Allah. You see this Instagram and Facebook and all this thing. A person baked a beautiful cake for her children. She takes a picture. The whole world knows what she did. Sure. So the reward what she did for the Allah, I'm making this for the pleasure of Allah for my family, is no more for that. Now it's what the people must say, and they're asking you for recipes, how many likes and this and that and that. So you're so happy, you know what, I got 700 likes on my page. So the ruhaniyat of our amal is gone. We are kokla inside. There's no more desire to make Allah happy. That no one must know how I looked after my husband, how I cooked for my family. The whole world knows what we do. So the ikhlas, they snatched it. And ulama say ikhlas and iman are same. When iman is high, ikhlas will be high. When ikhlas is low, it means the iman is also there down. So the protection of your iman, to die with iman, you have to protect your ikhlas also. Because they go together. So let's see how batil is infiltrating. When the elders say that this technology is going to finish us up, we're thinking, no, maybe they in India they don't get nice phones. But the factories that are there now is better than the whole world's. So they're not talking because they don't want you to buy this thing. They're saying your iman, your amal, your deen is going through this thing. So let's look after ourselves. These are the challenges we are facing. We have to beg Allah that Allah Pak protect us. We don't know in what condition we're going to go. Imagine a person is watching a film or something on this phone. Before, the people used to go to the bioscope. Then the TVs came. So many people stayed away from the bioscope or the cinema, what you call it. Then people were staying away from the TV. But now it's in every one of our pockets. So if a person is watching a film and Malik al-Maut comes at that time, what will we do, brothers? This is for the hifazat of our iman. That we try to make this mahal in this house. But how will the mother tell the child, you can't play with the phone, when eating time she's playing with the phone? Or the father also. I'm not only talking that ladies. We are busy with the phone and we're telling them, you know what, this phone is not good for you. So, mommy, what you doing? No, I'm doing my work. So how did the child differentiate between the work and playing? So Allah give us tawfiq. We came out in Jamaat. That's why they say this Jamaat, husband and wife come out together. So that they understand what is required. And they make a azam together that inshallah we're not going to do this. We have to make a determination that everything we want to help one another and work with one another and assist one another, because children will take lesson from this. And with this we have to make effort inshallah that this sifats, all these qualities to come into our life. Allah has given us deen and an effort of deen. So the effort of deen is, first thing, we make fikr to send our husbands for 4 months. When he goes for 4 months, the fikr will come in his heart. He'll have himmat to do certain things. He'll come back. He'll take us for 40 days or for 3 days. He'll start talim in a home. He'll do this. So together we'll bond. Together we'll make fikr together. As a couple we'll make effort. And that effort is visible on the children. How many people's children have become hufaz, have become ulama, have become this, have become that. Through this Mubarak effort, Allah is making it. In a whole world, like a wave of rahmat has come through this Mubarak effort. So we have to be paban on this. Look, the Ijtima is coming now. If the ladies can tell their husbands, you know what? Now it's time for Ijtima. So if you're giving 2.5 hours between Asr and Maghrib, or Maghrib to Isha and this, and if it happens there's a taqaza after Isha and you come little late, no problem inshallah. For this few months, this is my contribution for the effort of deen, that you give extra time. They say once there was a situation, I'm just cutting it short because of the time, that Ali radiallahu anhu was gone in the path of Allah. The children, Hassan and Hussein, were crying. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, and this was the condition, that there was hunger in the house of Ali radiallahu anhu. He asked Fatima radiallahu anha something like this, where's Ali? They say Ali is gone in the path of Allah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us something like this, the mafhum of what we hear from the ulama, oh Fatima, make sabr, the reward of this is Jannat. When Ali radiallahu anhu came back, he found out this happened. So he told Fatima radiallahu anhu, I'll never do this again. Inshallah, I'll sort these things out. She told him something like this, because her father told her that the reward of this is Jannat. So she told him something like this, you carry on serving deen as you have been doing. The reward of this we will see in Jannat. So if we make niyat, now the ijtima is here. My husband, you make effort. You have to spend little extra time. You come late in the evening, you're making mulaqats, you're making effort on Sunday morning, you're going to the locations, you're doing this. For this next 8, 10, 12 Sundays that there are, inshallah, don't take me anywhere also. I'm not saying now you mustn't go. But if there's a need that they gone to Outgush, Oliver Road, they couldn't go during the week at night. They went in the day, then they went to Sprite, then they gone here, then they went to Eastrus. So in the next 12 weeks, just as 3 months, Qurbani, March and April actually. February half is gone. So the men make effort every weekend. They're going in Jamaat, they're going to the locations, they're doing house to house, they're making fikr on the bus. So if we don't put pressure, we say, Allah, as Hazrat Fatima gave hijazat to Ali radiallahu anhu, I'm giving hijazat to my husband, that he makes full out effort. And oh Allah, I hope for the reward of this in Jannah. We have hope, inshallah, Allah will raise our ladies with Fatima, inshallah. Radiallahu anha. Our men will be raised with Ali radiallahu anhu. That he was most of the time out in the path of Allah. We have to have a desire. Allah accept my house for the khidmat of deen. Allah accept my husband, accept my children. Make us a sabab of hidayat. The loneliness when we're sleeping at night and tears are coming out of our eyes. Allah, so many days my husband hasn't been at home. Say, oh Allah, how Sahaba, they went and they never returned. Allah, make it that I'm making a small imitation of Sahaba, that I'm allowing my husband and my son and my children to go in the path of Allah. Allah, raise me with his beloveds on the day of Qiyamah. We should have that talab, that my house must be accepted for deen. And this Ramadan is not like every other Ramadan. 5 or 6 days after Ramadan will be the Ijtima. Eid will finish, they say, ulama say Friday, Saturday, somewhere there. And the next Thursday is the Ijtima starting. So this Ramadan, we make fikr that we have to make mulaqats, we have to make qurbani, we have to strive in the path of Allah that our husbands go little more for 3 days. And if we can manage, mashallah, Allah gave us such hufaz in our masjid, we can make the Taraweeh in one night also. It doesn't mean that the other 29 nights you don't have to read Taraweeh. That is a sunnat of Ramadan. No one must make Taraweeh in 5 days and 10 days, so the other 29 days, they're talking with the friends in the street. Just so that when I go to another masjid where they're making khatam on the 27th night, some are making 25th night, some are making 29th night. So I'm free that if I go to those masjids and read Taraweeh, my original Quran is already done. If we don't have that istidah, just read one para every day in your masjid. And most of the masjids in Gauteng are following that tartib. And if we make niyat, inshallah, the husbands tell their wife, this year we want the food to be simpler than normal. And we are ready for that. So make this Ramadan different. This is a Ramadan of qurbani, of sacrifice. So then the men can come Shab Guzari very easy. Because 29 nights they make khatam in the markas also. Most of the men don't come Ramadan for Shab Guzari because they say, no, our Taraweeh. So if you're reading one para here, you can read one para there. So send our men. At least the man can't make itikaf. He's got a job. He can't make 10 days. So every Friday night he makes itikaf in this thing. The odd nights the men are in the masjid. The ladies are at home. Let's bring a dini environment in totality. So now inshallah before the Ijtima also, they want Jamaats to go in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From the Ijtima also, Jamaats to go in the path of Allah. So in Ramadan we ask Allah, Allah include us amongst your Maqbool Bandas that you chose for the propagation and perpetuation of your deen. Allah accept my home, accept my family, accept my children, accept my community. We have to take a faisla for the hidayat of this ummah. The halat is coming on this ummah more and more and more and more. And this, the protection, the shield for halat is only dua. Between us and Allah, to put the shield so that the halat don't come through, that is the amal of dua. And Durud Sharif draws a special rahmat of Allah. And everyone make niyat that don't fry the samosas 5 minutes before iftar. When they give them patkos, after 2 hours they eat it is cold samosas. The bhajjas are cold. But we say no, for iftar we must have hot samosas. If the lady makes it before asar, all the savory she wants to make, everything is done. Asar to Maghrib we have talim. We can read 40 salatu salam. The family sits together and makes dua to Allah. If the man is in a masjid, the wife and children will sit together and make dua together. Ask Allah. Those innocent hands are lifting their hands in front of Allah, saying, Allah forgive the ummah. How happy Allah will be that a 5-year-old child is asking Allah to forgive this ummah. Make a mahal of deen in our house. Mawlana Ilyas said we want every house to become a markas, a khanka and a madrasa. The fikr of dawat will be in the houses, men and women together. We will have learning and teaching in our houses, and we will have ibadat how is done in a khanka. We will do it in our house every day. Inshallah. Like that, deen will come alive. Make a mahal. Don't make a mahal of eating. We will eat, inshallah. We're getting the best of food. But the time between Asr and Maghrib, don't waste our time in being busy with the food. Prepare it before the time. So then we'll see. We'll get time for talim. We'll get time for Ramadan. All these amals we'll be able to do, inshallah. So all of us will try. Inshallah. So the whole muzakara of the 6 points, we try to go to it, that amalan, it comes into our life on a daily basis. We are making effort. And the ladies to come out once in for 3 days once in 3 months, from last month's 3 days to this month's 3 days, am I spending it better or is the same? And then this month's 3 days till then after 3 months I'm going to go again for 3 days. It must be better than this time. So Masturat Jamaat from Eldo Glen has made niyat that they're coming out next week, inshallah. So the ladies to make intention for that. So 40 days, 4 months, the ladies will make niyat for the menfolk to come out. The ladies who haven't been Pakistan, they make niyat, inshallah. This year from now till December or whenever, to give few times 3 days, to go 10 days. So when they go there, the thing doesn't come as a shock. Then they can spend chilla also, inshallah. And those ladies who have already spent 40 days, they can make 10 days Jamaats. And we come out for 10 days, inshallah. Keep the harkat alive of the ladies' effort also, so that fikr will remain within us. That Dr. Khalid Butt said when he came, he said, I came 17 years ago. In this 17 years, I've noticed the level of dindari of South Africa has gone very high. What I see in the houses, in the masjids, in the madrasas. But one thing is less, that your ladies no longer have fikr for the ladies who are not in this work. So they are not preparing new ladies for 3 days. They are not preparing new ladies to come out for 40 days. They are becoming content with the amal that they're doing. I'm so happy, he said, their children are huffaz. When we met them here, they were small children. Now we say, you came to my house last time. My son is the imam of the masjid now. He said, we're so happy to see this thing. But that fikr which made him the imam, that fikr which made him become a hafiz, that fikr is not worth us. So when we go 3 days regularly, 10 days, we get the fikr to make effort on our neighbors, on the people of our family, the ladies of our family. So that fikr to keep it alive. They say the befikri dai ki mote. When a person loses the fikr for the ummah, that means actually that is called the death of a dai. So Allah Pak give us all tawfiq now. For a little while, inshallah, the ladies sit together, make tashkil of one another, encourage one another. And see, our work is only encouragement. There's no shouting, screaming, belittling, nothing like that. We soft and sweet as Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave dawah. We encourage one another, help one another, make dua for one another. People have different situations. We ask Allah to accept everyone. Because we are all muhtaj. We are all muhtaj. We are all dependent. So all of us ask Allah, make dua. So after a few minutes, inshallah, the dua will be made. And then, inshallah, the satis were saying that after they'll go and fetch the cars or whatever, and the packing. So by 5 o'clock, inshallah, the men want to return. Okay. But from now till then, inshallah, the ladies can make tashkil, and then the men will make tashkil here, and make fikr here also, inshallah. You all make fikr that side. And then after that is finished, the dua will be made. And then we'll greet everybody, make ikhtilat with the people. And inshallah, we'll continue like that. Then after 5 o'clock, the satis will go back, inshallah, to low.